You have been told your whole life that you are the nice one. You are the person people come to when they need something. The one who never says no. You have probably heard it framed as a compliment. You are kind, you are generous. You are easy to work with. But underneath that praise is a quiet exhaustion that nobody seems to notice, because being the nice one is expensive. And today we are going to look at the psychological cost of chronic people-pleasing. We are going to examine the neuroscience behind why you cannot say no. And we are going to reframe this behavior not as kindness, but as something much more specific, a survival response to understand why you struggle with boundaries. We need to look at your nervous system because this is not a personality flaw. It is biology. When you were young, your brain developed a threat detection system called neuroception. This term was coined by Dr. Stephen Porges as part of polyvagal theory. Neuroception is your brain's ability to scan the environment for safety or danger without conscious thought. For most people, this system works in the background. It helps them detect physical threats like a speeding car or an angry dog. But for you, the system became hyper-tuned to a different kind of danger, social rejection. Your neuroception learned early that conflict equals threat. Maybe your caregivers were unpredictable. Maybe expressing your needs led to anger or withdrawal. Your developing brain made a calculation. The safest strategy was not to fight or run, but to appease. Psychologists call this the fawn response. It is the fourth survival strategy that most people do not learn about. Fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fawning means you neutralize the threat by making yourself useful, by being likable, by prioritizing someone else's comfort over your own safety. This is not conscious. Your amygdala, the threat detector in your brain, sees a request that feels uncomfortable. It triggers a stress response, and your nervous system immediately activates the fawn pathway to resolve the danger. You say yes before your thinking brain even turns on. This is why people-pleasing feels automatic. It is not a choice, it is a reflex. Now we need to examine the metaphor that explains why this becomes so damaging over time. Think of your boundaries like an immune system. A healthy immune system protects the body. It identifies harmful bacteria and viruses, and it attacks them. It says no to the pathogens that would make you sick. But your immune system is suppressed. When someone makes a request, your internal system should evaluate it. Is this good for me? Do I have the energy? Is this person safe? Do I actually want to do this? But your system does not run that analysis. It bypasses the immune response entirely. Every request is treated as safe. Every demand is let through the gate. You do not have a boundary problem. You have an immune deficiency. And, just like a body with no immune system, you become vulnerable to infection. Toxic people can drain your energy. Entitled colleagues can exploit your labor. And you will keep saying yes until your system crashes. Now here is the part that most people miss. This is not about being kind. Kindness is a choice. Kindness comes from abundance. Kindness is when you have the energy to give, and you choose to offer it freely. But what you are doing is not kindness. It is fear. You are not saying yes because you want to help. You are saying yes because you are afraid of what happens if you say no. You are terrified of the rejection, the disappointment, the anger, the withdrawal of affection. Your kindness was never the problem. Your fear was just louder than your boundaries. This is the identity upgrade. You are not the nice one. You are the afraid one. And there is a huge difference. The nice one gives freely and feels energized. The afraid one gives compulsively and feels drained. The nice one says yes from choice. The afraid one says yes from survival. One comes from power, the other comes from panic. If this sounds harsh, stay with me, because understanding this distinction is what finally sets you free. If being a people pleaser was an evolutionary advantage, natural selection would have kept it, but it did not. Because chronic appeasement does not help the tribe, it helps exploiters. The tribe needs people who can assess danger and protect resources. The tribe needs people who can say this person is safe and this one is not. Your fawn response kept you alive in a specific environment, but now it is keeping you small. So how do we repair the immune system? How do we teach your nervous system that boundaries are not dangerous? We start with what psychologists call cost-benefit analysis training right. Now, your brain runs on autopilot. A request comes in. Your amygdala fires, you fawn. We need to interrupt that loop by inserting a pause. The next time someone asks you for something and you feel that familiar pressure to say yes, immediately do this say out loud. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. This is not a rejection. It is a boundary. This sentence buys you time. It gives your prefrontal cortex the chance to turn on. It allows you to move out of survival mode and into strategic thinking. In that pause, you ask yourself 3 questions. Do I have the energy for this? Is this person safe, or are they chronically taking? What is the cost to me if I say yes? Notice. What happens when you actually ask these questions? Your body will give you signals. A tightness in your chest, a sinking feeling in your stomach, a sudden exhaustion. These are not random, they are data. Your nervous system is telling you this request is unsafe. But for years, you have been trained to ignore these signals and override them with obligation. Stop doing that. Trust the discomfort. If the answers reveal that this request is depleting, then you practice the second strategy, the clean number. Most people pleasers cannot say no because they think they need to justify it. They think they need a good enough reason. But here's the truth. No is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone an explanation for protecting your energy. A clean no sounds like this. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I am not available for that. Or, I do not have the capacity to take that on right now. Notice there is no apology, no justification, no over-explanation. Just a calm statement of fact. This will feel uncomfortable at first. Your nervous system will scream that you are in danger. You will feel guilt. You will want to rush back and fix it. Do not sit with the discomfort. Let your body learn that saying no does not kill you. This is called distress tolerance training. You are teaching your amygdala that boundaries are not threats. The third strategy is to reframe what generosity actually means. Right. Now you think being generous means giving until you are empty, but that is not generosity. That is self-destruction. True generosity requires a full cup. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. And every time you say yes when you mean no, you are draining yourself. Generosity is not about how much you give. It is about giving from surplus, not from scarcity. When you protect your energy, you are not being selfish. You are being strategic. You are ensuring that when you do give, it actually means something. The final piece is learning to detect the people who exploit the fawn response. Some people are safe. They respect boundaries. They do not punish you for saying no. But some people are emotional predators. They have learned that you are an easy target, and they will keep taking until you collapse. You need to identify these people and create distance. A healthy relationship allows for no. If someone responds to your boundary with guilt, tripping silent treatment, or passive aggression, that is not a healthy relationship. That is exploitation. And your immune system needs to recognize them as a pathogen and reject them. Boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are medicine. The modern world rewards people, pleasers in the short term. You get praise. You get called reliable. You get told you are so nice. But in the long term, you pay the price. Burnout, resentment, a life built around everyone else's needs, while your own dreams sit untouched. You do not need to be meaner. You do not need to become cold. You just need to stop treating fear like kindness. Build the pause, practice the clean number, restore your immune system. When you do this, you do not lose your ability to care. You just stop caring for people who do not care for you. You were never too much, you were just giving to people who were taking too much. And because you have spent so much energy managing other people's emotions, you might have also developed a habit of avoiding conflict entirely. You might be the person who will do anything to keep the peace, even when the peace is fake. If that resonates, you might want to understand the neuroscience behind conflict avoidance. I break down why your brain treats disagreement like danger and how to rewire that response. You can watch that next. I will see you there.